We're live? Okay. And a very good Saturday morning to all of you. Thank you for coming in our watch parties on Facebook. This is Coffee and Stories. It's a space BiziLive and myself created for the community of expatriates, repatriates, professionals from multinationals, Romanian diaspora, and entrepreneurs who enjoy the English language conversations. And oops, we are live with sound. I just want you to know that you can interact with us through Facebook. So if you're watching Coffee and Stories, you can write in questions, you can ask me or the guests whatever you want. So I hope you enjoyed today's edition. We have two special guests, of course, like every Coffee and Stories edition. We have Marinas from Casa de Fleur and Mihai Corneanu, who has a very interesting story to tell. He is an entrepreneur. He is a person who spent a lot of time in Western Europe and the United States and brings real value to Romania. And I'm gonna let the two of them converse with each other because I figured, you know, they got to meet each other early this morning so they can share each other's stories in such a way that we can all benefit from their common wisdom. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, and Mihai, good morning and welcome. I know that you have to run off to London in 2 days because you work there as well. And you're doing a lot of things since you came back to Romania. So I am going to start with you.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'm going to start with you and I'm going to let you introduce yourself to Diana. Tell her what you've been doing.
Okay.
And how long you've been away from Romania and about your journey in the United States and in China and in the UK.
All right. So I left after university. I was working here for a few years, basically. And then I was very lucky to get like a full scholarship for an MBA program in the United States, fully funded by the university, basically. And I got a chance to be there in a very nice program where Sigmund Freud used to teach, basically. It's like a small school. In the program, there are like 120 countries, people from 120 countries, basically. It was very nice, basically, nice experience. After that, I ended up in finance and I was working in mergers and acquisitions, company restructuring, management consulting, and so on for 4 years, basically.
In the US?
In the US,
Which
basically.
town? Which city?
I was in Boston, New York, and Miami, basically.
And you were studying at Clark University,
Clark
right?
University is in Boston.
And what was the specialty?
A specialty was marketing, management, and finance.
Diana, you can ask him anything you want. So let your curiosity run wild, okay? Anything you want, you can ask him.
Okay, I will just wait for a few more details and then I will jump in with the questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I was there for 7 years. It was very nice experience, especially the school one. You know, getting to know people from 120 cultures was really nice. I like the most. And after that, I've done some business with some people from Asia. And I got invited to China, where I spent a year and a half, basically.
Where in China?
Shanghai.
US.
Of course, yeah.
I'm just
Shanghai and Beijing.
You asked him, Diana. Okay.
Shanghai and Beijing a little bit, basically. And then I decided to come to Romania, basically. And it happened, actually. I was at an event where I pitched a CEO of a very, very big Romanian pharmaceutical company. And he was planning at that time to get global, you know, to expand it global. And basically, I was the right fit in that moment. And I was the head of global business development and CEO's business advisory for one of the biggest Romanian pharmaceutical company, basically.
For how long?
For 3 years. 3 years, basically. And I took them to United States, of course, Middle East, and Europe.
Okay, and in Romania?
In Romania, they were already here, so.
Okay. But did you help expanding the business in Romania?
No. There was a marketing manager for Romania. I was helping expanding the business in the rest of the world, basically.
You know that this is a very interesting topic for everybody watching who's a repat or, you know, people who are watching from the diaspora. And for those of you who are in different time zones and you're going to be watching later, maybe you're thinking, if I come back to Romania, is it better to be an entrepreneur? Is it better to pitch a CEO, and help them expand whatever business they have based on my knowledge in foreign markets? What do you think is the better option for a Romanian who lived abroad, in a Western market, let's put it this way, for many years? I think you've been away for what, 8 years, 9 years?
Something like that.
Something like that. So what do you think? Is it better to come back and set up a business or work with a multinational?
I think it's better to start up a business, if you're asking me, unless you're in IT and things are easy.
Okay.
Actually, there is no program. A few people tried, like Reviro, Educativa, and LSRS as well. They've tried to have like programs to bring students from abroad, like bringing the brains back to the country, basically. But it's hard.
Why is it hard? What are the main challenges? And don't say politics.
Not politics, but like for example in China, the government is sponsoring the students to go to the best universities around the world, and then they have the obligations to go back and to implement whatever they learned. So this is what they're doing. But in here, it's not easy to re-enter the system, especially
You mean after
in
many
the
years?
company,
Yes.
because there's not such a program, because people are coming from other companies and so on, and if you're coming from there, usually what you study, it's a little bit different of what we are studying right here. For example, my program was really, really applied. Like there was no much theory, there were like mainly case studies, like real ones and so on, Like I studied things related to New Balance, to McDonald's, and things like that. And here they don't know where to fit you, basically.
You mean once you come back?
Once you come
Yes,
back,
if you want
you
to-
don't fit in the system anymore, because you've done something else, and they don't have such jobs usually. But since you studied there for so long and you've been exposed to that culture, you saw like a lot of things around there, and it's very easy to come here and to notice it's missing, basically, and to implement it somehow. So you can come with the ideas, basically.
Diana, I'm sorry
Yes.
we started with Mihai, but I had
Don't
4 women guests in the last 2 editions. So now we have a man.
You have to focus.
So you're the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your inspiration for Casa de Fleur, and by the way, Casa de Fleur is such a beautiful space, and I appreciate everything that
Thank
you've
you.
done. Your inspiration didn't come from the Romanian culture. So you started being inspired by the Japanese
Yes.
culture and
Yes.
the attraction you had for, the art of creating beauty based on their principles. So talk a little bit about how you came up with the idea for Casa de Flor and what you did before you became an entrepreneur.
Well, my background, because I have to, somebody asked me a few years ago, how did I come up with this idea? What was my road that ended with this business?
Started.
That started, yes, okay. The different perspective. The thing is that my background is accounting. So I finished accounting and I tried it for 2 years. It was really not my thing. I couldn't handle the boredness of
No. Accounting is a wonderful,
yes,
wonderful
it is.
job
Yes, it
to
is
have.
for
Yes.
people that are built that way. Then I started working in marketing, which I really loved, and I was responsible for a team of 40-something people all around Romania. It was I developed projects and
What industry were you working in?
home appliances, and I really loved that job. But then I had children, and my perspective changed a lot, and my time became very important. So together with my husband, we decided to start this business. But before that, while I was home taking care of the children, my husband gave me a present, a course of Ikebana. And that present was inspired by the Japanese courses I took while I was in university. So somehow the roots of the business go way back to the accounting. And that was the first step. I started to enjoy this. I really liked spending time with flowers, creating things. And then friends started to ask me to do this. And now it's a business. We are creating jobs. We are trying to change the perspective and to make people understand that there is more to life than just go to work, come back home, and that's it. You have to do something that, because I think it was Robin Williams that said, okay, being an engineer, being an economist, being a doctor helps you pay the bills, but to really enjoy life, you have to have art in your life. You have to have to enjoy paintings, to enjoy going to theater, to enjoy floral design. So that's what we do.
Okay, so Mihai, what would you like to ask Diana today?
Well, actually, I want to say something about what you said. My sister lives in Austria, and she did there her PhD, and I'm really proud of her. It's very difficult for her to come back. It's hard for her there, and it's she has her friends here, and I think everybody that leaves Romania wants to come back because here are our roots. But it's very difficult for her because she finished, she's very technical. She finished polytechnics, and don't ask me the
specialization?
No, it's very
difficult.
It was not
accounting.
I cannot understand it,
In
not even after
Institute.
9 years,
Yeah.
I think. If she wants to come back, she has no possibility of working in the same field that she's working in Austria. So that's something that we have to work on, that we have to develop.
Okay, well, I can relate a little bit to this topic because in the last 3 years that I spent in New York, prior to returning in the fall of 2018, I became a family mediator. Now, the kind of mediation that I used to practice and that I was trained for is almost not applicable here, and that kind of mediation doesn't really exist here. So when I came back, initially I thought, I'm going to open up and develop my practice doing what I used to do on the Upper West Side. It's basically impossible, culturally speaking. But there are parts of it I can implement. Yeah. So I'm thinking about all of those Romanians who want to repatriate. They really want to come back, and the decision is 99% emotional, even though they have a business idea. But it's because they have friends, it's because they have family, it's because they miss the the social aspect, the emotional aspect of being in their own country. But then they have to compromise, or maybe they have to rethink what they're doing. And I'm looking at you. You have that look that says, I know exactly what you're talking about. You must have experienced it coming back here and trying to bring all your knowledge and all your expertise in the Romanian market. And there's something else that we didn't say about you, and this is how we actually met, because you are what's this amazing title? The Consul for Internations, which is a group of expats.
Right.
In Bucharest,
right?
So we met at an event. I mean, we connected through Internations, and we went even skating together. There's a wonderful, by the way, there's a wonderful Internation skating event in Cismigiu every Thursday evening now, and maybe even on Sunday. Now it's freezing cold, but yesterday, it was really freezing. 3 Internations members did go skating.
Right.
So
Nice.
and they even took pictures. So it's great. So do you have these conversations at Internations with repats and expats as well?
I do. Actually, I'm on volunteer there. You can join if you want. Like I have in Romania a group of 800 people. Usually like 50 to 100 people are coming for each event that I organize at least once per month. I have another group in London where I organize events as well, with more than 2,000 people there.
That's great.
And people are interested to come to do business in Romania, are interested to come back, as you said, basically. But there is no support, and I can tell you from my story, when I first came, I couldn't fit back into the system, into corporations and so on, because there was not such a position for me, basically, at that moment. And as I understood, for all the people who are trying to come back, they face the same thing. So I think an option would be to convince the company to to understand this issue that we have brains like outside Romania, and they are willing to come back and to find some places for them according for what they do. And maybe you can connect them and have like a group of company who are like partners who are willing to take like young graduates back here in the system somehow.
So there's an organization called the Repatriot,
Right.
who's trying to do exactly that. Now, I don't know all the information about the extent that they've been doing it constantly, consistently through the years, but they're definitely putting in some efforts. And there are people I know who are really trying to develop such a network of companies who understand that people coming back from other cultures after 10 years, they need to fit. If they don't fit back and they don't have a role that's in a way created around them, they won't be able to make a positive change.
Exactly.
You know, so yes.
Yes, I agree, but also, you know, I was talking about 2 weeks ago, I think, with a company that takes care of franchising small companies. And they told me something very interesting. In France, for example, 80% of the franchise companies are local ones. In Romania, it's just the opposite. So I think, I know it's easier to go in a multinational company and find a job there that's fit for you. It's way easier. It's way harder to start a new company and to become an entrepreneur and to deal with all the challenges that Romania is offering. But that way we will create an environment that will help building these companies that will eventually become 80% of the franchise companies in Romania that are local. So maybe the people that are living outside Romania and are thinking about coming back, maybe they could think about tourism, because they will have a lot of things to offer. Romania is really great for tourism. They can, I don't know, there are a lot of fields that they can choose from, and they can build something, okay, from scratch, and it will be really hard, but it's not impossible. So that's my opinion.
So I think it's important to talk a little bit about the power of community and how it actually helps people outside of Romania. Personally, that's what I would change, or this is what I would do in Romania, and this would be, and it is through Coffee and Stories, a part of my own mission, creating a community that not only supports you emotionally, but gives you opportunity to grow professionally as well.
Yep.
And there's, you know, there's this mentality in Romania that if you're in a group of friends, for example, let's say internations, okay?
Right.
If I make friends, I see them, I go skating with them every Thursday for, you know, several weeks, and there are expats there and repats and professionals from multinationals. Now, would it be awkward that after skating, we all go out for a cup of coffee or something, you know, hot wine, something, and then we would just ask each other, how can I help you professionally? This is what we need.
We need networking.
It's more than networking. It's the level we need. We need people to help us make money, be successful in Romania. So for the past 4 years of my life in New Jersey, I used to live in New Jersey for the past 4 years, I was a part of a community of moms. And not just moms, you know, who were taking their kids off to school in the morning. Moms who were making money from their own small businesses, who chose a different kind of path, even though they had, you know, high-profile jobs up until they had small kids. And they did that really late in their career, because this is very typical for the United States, especially for New York. But let's say around the age of 45, they decided not to go back to their job, and they started various small businesses, direct marketing mostly, okay? Selling, you know, moisturizers and, I don't know, sports equipment and nutritional programs, whatever you can think about, they were doing it. And, you know, inside such a group of women, let's say maybe a group of 30 women that I knew, whenever we would meet each other, we would never meet all 30 of us, but whenever we would meet each other, the question of, can you work with me, was never a question of, let me see what else I can sell to you. Because it's obvious, if we want to have a better life, we have to help each other. I'm going to buy your sports equipment, you're going to buy my moisturizers, I'm going to buy your nutritional plan, you're going to buy my handmade jewelry, okay? And we're all going to do much better because it's a choice for how we live. So the not saying what's truly important to us in a networking setting, I think that's our problem in Romania. That's a problem that I did not see in the United States, where this is what I need. I came back to Romania, let's say, what I need is opportunity to grow professionally and financially. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to stay. I'm not going to be able to sustain myself. So whatever community we create, this has to be on the table from the very beginning. And everybody has to participate somehow. It has to be the number one thing we do, and then we can be friends and go skating and do all that stuff. But the number one thing we have to do is here's an opportunity for you to grow. Do you need it? You know, and we can help each other because, you know, maybe we're not all CEOs of multinationals, but we all know some of them, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you grew your business, because it started with your imagination, a gift from your husband. Casa de Fleur is now doing corporate events, really special events, and then you have to tell us about the really special events that you've been organizing, because the stories you told me are really amazing. Maybe you two can work together. How about that? That would be very nice. Yeah.
Well,
with 10% commission, because it's only fair. Yes,
it's only fair. I agree.
It's only fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started from a very simple idea with a flower shop, a very small flower shop, and that went really bad financially. So we had to close it after a year. But
Wait,
we
this
were
was
really
which year?
2013.
Okay.
Yeah, so almost 6 years ago. And we were really stubborn to keep that flower shop open for 1 year, because if you close it down after 3 months, you don't have a full overview of what really is going on financially, how the stock is working, how the suppliers and everything. So after 3 months, it's not conclusive. You have to wait for at least 1 year. We closed it down after 1 year, but it really helped us with the relationship with the customer. I mean, it was something that we had to do on the spot, and that really helped us for the events that we organized afterwards. And then we started to work only for private events. And we started to work really well on Facebook, and we went to wedding fairs. Those wedding fairs really helped us a lot, and that's how we got our customers. And in time, we were able to work with really big organizing event organizers, yeah. And with the locations, wedding locations, the corporate event locations. So that's actually the secret. And the problem was with the private events that we had gaps throughout the year. And we had to fill those gaps because you have to pay the rent, you have to pay the salary. So we had to find a way to fill those gaps. And the corporate events were actually the answers. And now we have, besides those flowers that you see at the reception when you go to a meeting with somebody, those are flowers that we deliver every week. We have workshops that we organize for the companies. We had workshops with 80 people, I think. So imagine me standing in front of 80 people trying to control them somehow, because they were so excited about this this new thing that we were presenting them.
Well, what kind of workshop is it? Like, what do you learn?
You come to my workshop and you work with the flowers. You build your own flower arrangement, you build your own flower jewelry. So we work only with natural flowers. And imagine this as a team building, but in the office. You don't waste time with going to a place, you don't take time from your family time. You are in the office, and we come there with a lot of colorful flowers and everything that you need to create your own design.
That's really nice.
Yes, that's something that
it's going, right? So
yes,
you feel
yes,
there's a demand for it.
Yes, it's a very high demand. Actually, this year I promised my team that I will not held any workshops during the 1st and 8th of March, because it's a very very busy period for us. And we have workshops. I mean, I think the last one was before Christmas with 30 people. So.
That's great.
Plus, we have these corporate events where we provide the flower jewelry, actually rings with real flowers on them, and I think we are making about, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 a year at
Wow.
least. Yeah. So it was really hard to start this kind of business because you don't have any know-how. Nobody's teaching you how to handle the financial things. I was really lucky because I had the accounting background and the marketing background that helped me to raise this from zero. But nobody's giving you a hand. But if you, I mean from the any authority point of view. But if you want to have any ideas, you can go whenever you want. You can go online, and I assure you that there are a lot of people that are really there for you and want to help you.
So Mihai, now we're going to talk about the really special events. It's amazing what kind of level of events you can end up, organizing. And how did you come up with this opportunity to organize such great events? And talk a little bit about the extent, of the complexity of the events that you've done.
Well, actually, the CEO, the owner of this company, basically, it's a very good friend of mine from the MBA program since 2004, basically, from United States. So it's all about networking, as you said,
Okay.
basically. So he established a company, and we have like partners like all over, like Germany, Middle East, Russia, and so on, basically. So what we do, we promote mainly tourism and all other industries, and we do organize also country promotion events and industry promotion events and area promotion events and hotels. We promote golf tournaments and so on, basically. So just to give you an example of big event that we organize, we invited best media in the world like Le Monde, Le Figaro, the Daily Telegraph, and so on.
How many journalists?
About 400 journalists, let's say.
Who are coming from all over the
All
world?
over the world. They go to a very fancy hotel that they host the event with the national airline. We do that, for example, for Turkey, basically. And there, during 1 week, we have like presentation and conferences where the government is promoting the countries. We have guests like the Minister of Tourism, the economy, and other industries like fruits and vegetables and textile and some machineries and so on. And they basically write like thousands of articles after this such event. Even from Romania, I got invited like the national television and news agencies and best publications like papers and so on. I got them invited there for 1 week, for a few times actually. And yeah, we do organize. Also, we had like a promotion for fruits and vegetables, and we did that in Romania as well with the buyers from major supermarkets and hypermarkets from here. So it's going quite well.
So does Romania have anything like it? Such an event to promote
No.
the national brand?
No,
Nothing.
nothing like that. I'm working on it, but it's not going very well, unfortunately, for this moment.
Okay. What would it mean to have something like this? So you basically have a week to promote tourism in the country,
Yes.
economic opportunities, and you bring in, I can imagine it, so bring in 400 of the world's best journalists
Right.
in Bucharest, maybe not in Bucharest, I don't know, for a whole week,
Maybe
right?
in Mamaia. Maybe in Mamaia would work
Mamaia.
better.
I don't know, Mamaia for 2 nights, okay? We'll split it, and then 2 nights in Bucharest, maybe 1 night in Brașov,
Right.
right? So how would it look like, and what would we need to do to have such a great event? I think it's a great idea.
Actually, you need the support of basically the public sector.
Okay.
Who-
Which ministry?
Mainly tourism and other
Tourism?
industries that would like to promote like globally. This is how it's done. Like for example, in Turkey, they have like 27 group promotions on different industries.
Are companies involved as well? Do
Yes.
companies sponsor too?
Yes, they do actually.
Turkish companies.
In Turkey, yes. In Turkey, Turkish companies. In other countries, local companies, and so on. Basically, they do sponsor. So basically, you're gonna receive the message from the government, from the Minister of Economy, Tourism. They're gonna send the message worldwide, and then you're gonna have the hotel CEO and the airline CEO who are gonna be the main sponsors. They're gonna deliver the message, and then you'll have all those sponsors that you mentioned, which could be anybody, you know, basically, and they can send a message to the world, and we can cover pretty much anything there.
Now, in terms of result, so Turkey gets this event, it lasts a week, it brings in 400 of the world's best journalists, I imagine from many fields, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, and then the result needs to be that there's a consistent and constant promotion of Turkey's various industries throughout the year, right?
Right.
Consistent and constant means that you can't have 100 of those journalists writing irrelevant things about Turkey and then 300 posted here and there. There has to be a strategy. Do they understand, or do they leave with very clear messages about what the country is about? Do they understand it better culturally?
Well, they do, yes. There's also, a release, like, material which are released. And those kind of events, actually, they're followed by monthly articles, like a monthly campaign. It's not just a one-time event, basically.
Okay.
So it's working very well, actually. Like when we started first time, maybe like 4 years ago, it was hard to convince like an airline and a hotel to sponsor such an event, because the costs are pretty much very huge now.
Yeah.
Like. And now we have more airlines which are willing to chip in for such an event. Now they compete between them, and we have like maybe like 6-7 hotels who are willing to host. And because the results, they're very happy with the results, basically. So it's going very, very well.
Well, I think that Romania should have it. Absolutely, this
Hopefully.
is a great opportunity for Romania as a national brand. And from the diaspora's perspective, whenever we approach a holiday, Easter, Christmas, whatever it is, then we start seeing posts on Facebook, on Instagram about the Romanian symbols from the countryside and our traditions and how beautiful Romania is. And we see them every year. And there's no concrete result, following this enthusiasm that comes upon us every 3 or 6 months. I think consistency is everything. We know what Romania has to offer. We already know, we're Romanians. We know the beautiful things about our country, and basically that's why people come back, and that's why other people choose to grow their businesses here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But unless we find a way, the best mechanism to constantly promote it, outside our own culture, tourism is not going to grow overnight. But this is a great event. I can imagine 400 journalists from all over the world. In New York, they have the United Nations meeting in September every year. And several other events have been developed to happen, have been thought to happen in New York in the same time as the United Nations event, because, people took advantage of having people from all over the world, tens of thousands of foreigners coming to New York, and not just tourists, people from politics, from, high-level business. They're in New York the last week of September for the United Nations meeting. So very smart companies or organizations came up with small, programs, small events to get some of those people into a party, into a small networking event, into a themed event, something like that. So you take advantage of that. There are, and now with Romania having the chance to prove itself in the European Commission, right? Having that opportunity should create other opportunities in-house for us in Romania. So we can perhaps link such an opportunity, policy-wise and business-wise, to be able to bring more visibility constantly to us, at least among the EU members. But we're already talking strategy, and this is not a Saturday morning conversation. But it does prove to me that we have so many ideas. Why? Because we're looking from outside. We have an external perspective to what can be done. So let me ask you a question. You have your business, right?
Yeah.
It was really hard for you to bring it where it is today.
Yeah.
I came from the United States with 10 years of experience there. I'm a creative person. I love marketing and I love flowers, but I really love them. And I've seen beautiful flower arrangements in Manhattan. And I come to you, Diana, and I say, Diana, I can really help you with your business. I can bring, you know, in 1 year your business is going to explode. But you have to give me full control.
Actually, that sounds really nice.
Really?
Because my dream job for me in
Yeah.
my own business
Okay.
is to stay in my flower shop and create designs.
Okay.
So right now I have someone that takes care of this image and of growing the business.
Yeah.
But I have to be involved. So if you want to come and get full control, so you promise that in 1 year we will be 3 times bigger or 5 times bigger. It's not a problem for me because you come with the know-how, with
right.
a different perspective.
But you see, this was a little test because you were talking about this cultural misfit that, you know, the person coming from the United States or from Germany or from Switzerland or from London after years and years there, they come and they try to go inside a certain spot inside an organization and they try to bring in what they know. And initially, the CEO or the, you know, HR director or whoever says, that's great, we want what you have. What goes wrong then? Because we definitely have stories of repats who came for a job, maybe not in IT, but they came on a high-profile job, and then they went back to London, to the US. Why did that happen? Why? Mihai?
Well, it's a bit more complicated here. And basically, it's the cultural differences, where all the power here in Romania it's staying on top. So basically, the CEO decides for absolutely everything. So you don't really have the chance to say we can do this, we can do that, we can choose this partner, and so on. So everything is coming imposed from there. So things are more complicated from this point of view. They don't let you do.
But initially, don't they want you for what you bring?
Yes, but afterwards they don't let you do it. They want to do it themselves and they want to impose it for you, and then they give you some ideas which are different from what you think, and maybe they don't work because they don't let you do your thing, basically, whatever you learned.
So what would you need for your ideas to be able to work? First of all, for them to say, okay, I'm just going to stay in my office and do the flower design. You take over, Dana. I have a very hard time believing you 100%, but we can give it a try.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know, from my perspective, dealing with every aspect of the business for the last 6 years, it's very hard to delegate. It's very hard to let somebody else do the things that, for example, for the marketing department, let's say, it's very hard for me to let that go. You know, though the thing that I want is to just stay in my flower shop and design the flowers. It's very hard, but it's something that I'm aware that I have to do at some point. Otherwise, the business will not grow. The thing is that I think in Romania we have a lack of leaders. We have a lot of bosses, but we don't have leaders. I think.
love that.
I don't know if you agree with me or not, but
Romania is the country of bosses.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I work with a lot of companies, big companies, and I see that, you know, I'm from outside, and I was inside for a lot of years, and I know how they work, and now I'm from the outside, and I see where the problems are, but I don't see the solutions because the people are the same, and they will not change very fast in the next few years.
I can even imagine the conversation somebody like you would have with a Romanian CEO of a multinational. Things would have been different 7 years ago when the CEO of the multinational would have been foreign.
Right.
But now most of them are Romanian. So the foreign one would have said, oh, Mihai, I get
Great.
it. I'm from Canada, from the United States. You know, go just do whatever you want to do. I trust you 100%. I get the culture. But once you are back with a culture that you can't change in your own mind anymore because you're forever changed after so many years living abroad. So you're coming here and then let's say 6 months in or 3 months in, it's faster than 6 months. The feedback you're going to get is, Mihai, you don't understand the culture anymore.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
Isn't it right? Because
It's
they
true.
feel they have to explain to you why things are not working. And I used to say this to everybody in the first month after repatriation. Whenever I pitched an idea to somebody and that person was Romanian, the number one thing I would say was, let me tell you why this is not going to work. Let me tell you all the problems that you're going to have. It's typically Romanian, but it's not because people want to be negative. They try to tell you, have you forgotten the culture that you left from? The culture is not the same. And I know it's not the same because I returned to find so many amazingly accomplished Romanian entrepreneurs and professionals. I hadn't visited since 2011 until 2008, and the difference I saw in those 7 years was amazing. You know, and again, there are so many more Romanian CEOs leading multinational companies right now because they can. They can do it, you know, and they do it, most of them successfully. So where is the disconnect, Mihai? Because let's say we have 10 Mihais, okay, and the 10 Mihais can really help rebrand Romania, and they can help promote even larger Romanian companies, okay,
Right.
or regional companies, not necessarily America-driven or London-driven. Where is the big disconnect?
Well, actually, as you said, it's a big community who's willing to come back and make a change. And actually, they do, but they don't come like organized, like all together. And they come here, they try for a few months, and so, as you said, and then they leave. I don't know exactly what to answer to that, but I think from our side, and I'm willing to, is to form like a community and to support others, because I experimented. Like for the first year was very hard for me to come back and understand the system and see what I'm doing wrong and how to fit in and so on. So I am personally willing to help other people who are willing to come to help them get into the system or start their business idea or something like that. And I, even more, I propose like a community. We shall form a community, maybe an online community with physical meetings from time to time maybe, so we can be able to get together and start businesses. And the problem is the mentality of local people who are not exposed to other things, and they know how to do things their way, and they don't really accept another thing.
Did you know, prior to me mentioning it, did you know about the Repatriot community?
I don't know about Repatriot, but Repatriot, it's another thing. They are like successful business people who are willing to start other businesses based on people's idea, as
But
I
they're-
remember.
I'm telling you, they're also trying to help bring back Romanians on high-level jobs, and they were successful in a few instances. You know, the problem is that you didn't know that.
I do know about Repatriot,
No,
but
no, you didn't know about that part of what they're trying to do.
I don't know about that.
Okay, so we have multiple efforts going on around Romania. People who identify the need. I mean, if you would hear in a conversation somebody who lives in France and they would want to come back and set up a business, would you know how to tell her or him, I know exactly who you have to talk to?
Yeah.
There's a, would you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah, yeah.
Who
because
would you tell her? You know, who
it
would you
depends
direct her?
on the business. For example, I told you I was talking with somebody for franchising my business, so I'm willing to give the know-how. If somebody wants to come back from France and they want to move to Brasov, I'm willing to give them the exact steps on how to create a successful business without making the mistakes I made. Just taking all the good stuff from my experience. And I think there are many people like me, many entrepreneurs like me. So
But the problem is they're not all in one place.
Exactly.
So imagine
Yeah.
that I'm a Romanian woman in Paris. I'm a Romanian woman in New Jersey, which I am. So I want to go back. I really want to go back and do something for Romania. I want to repatriate. I need, with a click of a button, to go to backtoromania.com, .ro, whatever it is, and there I would see people who work and repatriated from the same industry as I am. I would be able to connect with them, learn from their stories, and contact them. I need to be able to talk to them, okay? Then, let's say repatriation with children. I have children. I need to click on that and see all the documents I have to prepare, the entire bureaucratic process that I need to go through in order to be able to bring my family. And then business opportunities, and then financial funding or something.
Exactly.
Because what do I need in order to repatriate? I need to know that financially I'm going to be okay, and I need to know that my family is going to be okay.
Right.
Now, people have asked me, is it possible to bring your kids from a completely different culture and offer them something of good quality here in Romania? Yes, it is. And not just in the private sector. My son goes to a public kindergarten. That is exceptional. His teacher is extraordinary. The school is clean, they get great food. So yes, there is something to offer, but people need to be able to find it, because it's so confusing. If I imagine repatriation, it's like a huge elephant that I need to cut into 1,000 pieces and take it piece by piece. It's going to last forever. I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to keep my job, whatever it is, because it's so hard. So we have to bring the information together so that when your friend from France comes to you, you know what? Rather than me telling you bits and pieces, click on backtoromania.com. You're going to have all the information there. Now, do you think that's going to work?
I think it's going to work, but you have to have the headquarters like in Romania here.
Okay.
And I myself, I'm willing to be there, like available for people who want to come back.
Okay.
And they can access me basically for any kind of support, like integration, business idea, connections with different people, and implement their ideas, funding, and so on.
And
we can talk about it.
Do you know of any grants, or how much more? We have 3 minutes? Okay.
Already?
One more minute. 1 more minute to talk about whatever you guys want to talk, and then we're going to have a sweet moment to end the show. Actually, you know what? Let's do the sweet moment now. Yes. So we end each Coffee and Stories with a sweet moment from Tim. Tim is a Belgian quality Romanian chocolate with love messages, which I promote in Coffee and Stories because it bears the symbol of something of great quality that can be done in Romania with a little more than just a commercial touch. So I'm going to offer you each a box of Tim chocolates, and we open it.
Thank you.
We read the messages inside. Usually there are love messages inside the Tim bars, but just for Coffee and Stories, we have philosophical thoughts just to start.
It's such a great way to start the weekend.
Yes. So you can open it. You have the little boxes of Tim inside. By the way, Tim means te iubesc mult. And Diana, you're gonna
You
go
cannot
first.
imagine the message I got.
Okay, let's see. Let's hear.
A garden and the library is all that you need.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't plan this.
No, we were totally not planned. Okay, that's great. Mihai.
Okay. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. That's
Nice.
deep.
one.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's that from?
That's from William Faulkner.
Faulkner?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine's from Cicero.
Okay. And mine is, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And oh my God, this is really great for me too. It wasn't planned in the sense that we didn't really know which ones to choose. So how much more do we have? Like a minute or something? 1 minute? 2 minutes? Okay, 2 minutes. All right, 1 minute each. And what is it that really drives you? When you wake up in the morning, what excites you the most? And not during the weekend, okay? Monday through Friday.
Well, actually, for me, it goes also for Sunday and for Saturday and Sunday. The thing is that what drives me is the emotion I create in people when they receive a creation of mine. So it's very, actually, I depend on that. I'm very nervous every time we deliver, even though I don't do the deliveries, I'm very nervous about the reaction of people. It's 100% absolutely great, but every time I have that emotion, and every time after I receive the feedback, I feel like I'm floating. So it's not about the money, it's not about the recognition, it's just about the emotion that we create.
Thank you, Diana, very much. And you, Mihai, what
For
excites
me, it's creation. I always want to come out with something new, create something new, Basically concepts in different industries, basically different things all the time. I'm very creative basically, and starting things and then somebody else can continue and make the business out of it. That's my thing.
You know, I really hope that more people like you can come and be and have their potential truly used, really used in Romania, because what you've done is really great. And thank you so much. And the safe travels to London and back, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful Saturday, and you know, be ready to skate when you come out of your house in Bucharest. Bye, everybody. Is that it, or?